ever opened a messy Excel file and thought, why is this table upside down or impossible to read? It happens all the time. Messy exports, long lists, weirdly formatted dashboards. Today we are solving it with 3 dynamic array functions: transpose, WRAPROWS and WRAPCOLS. We will use the same games dataset and I'll show you how to reshape and clean it. The first function for today is transpose. It allows us to transform rows into columns and columns into rows. Sometimes your export or query gives you their own orientation. Charts, dashboards or pivot tables may need a different layout, and transpose fixes this instantly, dynamically and safely. No copy-paste. For example, let's flip the descriptions and column names of our dataset. Type transpose and select the range A1 to N2. As you see, it takes both rows and turns them vertically. I use this when reviewing row datasets with long descriptions. Instead of scrolling sideways, I get a vertical summary, easy to read and easy to feed into reports or dashboards. By the way, transpose works well with any dynamic array, sequence, unique, filter and other functions. The next one is the WRAPROWS functions that enables us to fold list into grids. It can take a vertical list and arrange it into horizontal rows. It has 3 arguments: the array we will transform, the rep count, which is a number of items per row, and optional pad-width argument. It's a placeholder for incomplete rows. Long lists are hard to read, hard to present and tough to compare. WRAPROWS gives you visual structure and keeps dashboards clean and helps identify patterns quickly. So let's see the next example. We will need to get the list of unique genres and place it into 2 columns. We will use the unique function to pull all unique genres from our dataset, just like that. And then, to place them in 2 columns, I will use WRAPROWS function. The second argument will be 2, the number of columns. It can be helpful for dashboards and drop-down menus. By the way, using unique and WRAPROWS saves hours when reporting categories. No helper columns needed. And don't forget, you can use the optional third argument to handle uneven lists, keeping grids neat. The third function, WRAPCOLS, is the vertical counterpart of WRAPROWS. It fills down a column, then starts a new one. The syntax is the same: array, rep count, pad width. When comparing categories side by side or building multi-column reports, WRAPCOLS keeps data aligned, clean and ready for dashboards or print. To demonstrate it, let's create a list of week numbers from 1 to 52 in 4 columns, 1 per quarter. First, I will use the sequence function, sequence 52. It will generate a list of numbers from 1 to 52. That's our week numbers. I will use rep columns to divide them into 4 columns, 52 divided by 4. And as you may have noticed, the second argument can be dynamic too. Let's create a square grid for numbers from 1 to 256. I will use the sequence function 256 and then wrap it into WRAPROWS function. The second argument will be the square root of 256, a calculated value. The result will be the square grid with 16 columns and 16 rows. The first row is from 1 to 16, but if I will change the WRAPROWS into WRAPCOLS, the data will be rotated. And now let's try to use all those functions we've used to learn before. In this task, we will need to find all unique titles developed by GSC Studio and arrange them in columns of 7, filling empty spots with a dash. Let's start with the filter function. We will try to filter those titles that are developed by the company GSC. but the formula fails. It's because the name of the studio can contain some extra spaces, variations or substrings like GSC Game World or GSC Studios. So this formula is too strict, it misses partial matches. In these cases, you will need to use isNumber and find function. The find function searches each developer cell for the substring GSC and returns its position in the string if found. And isNumber converts them to true or false, true if GSC is found and false otherwise. So this formula keeps only the titles where the developer string contains GSC. This is more robust because it handles partial matches, not just exact equality. Once filtered on the title, unique function removes duplicates. It's important if multiple rows exist for the same game. You only want one entry per title. And now WRAPCOLS. It arranges the resulting list vertically into columns. 7 is the number of items per column. This creates a clean multi-column display, easy to read and export, and we don't need the error codes. If the last column has fewer than 7 items, Excel can fill empty cells with a dash or any other word or symbol. So let's use the third argument, a dash. It keeps the grid tidy and visually consistent. When working with Excel as an analyst, it's not about just getting numbers. It's about presenting and shaping data so it tells a story. These 3 dynamic array functions give you more control. All 3 update automatically when source data changes, no copy-paste or manual rework. You can combine them with other functions like filter, unique, sequence and others to create dynamic dashboards or reports. And don't just analyze numbers. Make tables easy to scan and visually intuitive. Stay tuned. See ya!